morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this podcast on Spotify, Face Economics podcast on Spotify, as well as our video blog on our YouTube channel, Face Economics TV. And I want to, give you guys a quick heads up pertaining to one of the presidential candidate, Mr. Robert F. Kennedy, the nephew of John F. Kennedy, the founder of the U.S. Peace Corps, where I have served. And I just recently found out that he is basically not being afforded Secret Service protection. And I find that extremely alarming, given that his background, his family background, has been, you know, plagued with a lot of hateful acts from oppositions and disgruntled people and hinge individuals that have harmed his family. The Kennedy name in itself, regardless if you support their political views or their political affiliation, I believe that Mr. Robert Kennedy should be afforded Secret Service protection. As you all may know, back in 2020, during the U.S. general election, I was a candidate running to represent the state of Virginia in the election. And I'm a no-name candidate. There wasn't a whole lot of people that really gain access to my name, and hardly any press or any press at all. I mean, not hardly, but not any press at all covered, national press wise, covered my campaign. And even that, I was still harassed. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'll show this quick video that I made while I was on the campaign trail, because there was an unhinged individual that decided to follow me around, intimidate me, and overall harass me while I was on the campaign trail as a no-name individual, as a no-name candidate. So imagine somebody that has a name, political recognition like the Kennedys. Imagine that kind of attention from the opposition or from individuals that simply do not like these kinds of politicians, or just based off of the name recognition. So let me show you this quick event that took place, and then we'll talk further. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna just show you what it's like. It's it was pretty scary. Imagine some crazy person following you around. You don't know if they're packing, you don't know if they're going to run you over, you don't know if they're going to hit your car. I mean, as a candidate, most candidates that have decided to run for office are basically putting themselves on the line and their safety on the line, especially from people that are unhinged. With the size of the US population, there's always going to be that individual that would follow around a political candidate and would try to inflict harm to that candidate, or one way or the other, either physical harm or verbal harm. But I'm going to show you what I had to deal with as a U.S. Senate candidate, independent U.S. Senate candidate in the state of Virginia in the 2020 general election. Okay. So this guy is harassing us. What's your name? What's your name, sir? What's your name? Sir, what's your name, sir? Are you going to open the window? What's your name, sir? What? Can you roll down the window, sir? You're interfering with our activities. Can you roll down the window, sir? So this guy is interfering with our campaign. And so as y'all can see, the guy won't disclose his name. There is no way for me to identify this individual. He just decided to follow me around. And luckily, when the cops showed up, they instructed him to leave me alone. I didn't press any charges. I didn't, try to escalate the situation. But imagine someone who has no political name recognition whatsoever. Just because the media didn't cover my campaign, the national media and local media didn't really give me that opportunity to compete. But imagine me being followed around and harassed, uh, but with no form of name recognition. Okay, and so I would like to make sure that people would advocate for equal protection to Mr. Robert, F. Kennedy, due to the fact that his family has been through a lot of crazy, violent crap throughout history. His uncle was assassinated, the same individual who created the U.S. Peace Corps, the agency that I've served in, to promote peace, to promote, brotherhood, to promote, you know, cultural interaction, diplomacy worldwide, and provide assistance to those that are in need worldwide. Imagine somebody wanting to, snuff off his life, and unfortunately, they have succeeded in assassinating Robert F. Kennedy's uncle JFK. So I would like to implore everyone, regardless of your political affiliation, to support and advocate, secret service protection to Robert F. Kennedy. Okay, until the election season has been completed. I believe every individual candidate, especially at the level of presidential candidate, should be protected in the US due to the fact that we have quite a bit of people and some of them aren't always right in the head, unfortunately. So, with that said, folks, thank you for listening to this quick podcast. I just thought I'd, make this, you know, uh, quick message to be shared with the public, to basically support equal protection, um, to all candidates that are advancing in the presidential election this year. I've even heard that somebody had brought a gun in one of Mr. Kennedy's events, and I don't know what transpired or how they managed to find out that that person brought a gun. Typically, what happens is if there's, a candidate that is campaigning in public, there's typically what happens is they would have, police protection, and those police, uh, you know, uh, guards would check people to make sure that they're not packing heat or anything that could, inflict bodily harm on other people. One time, I went to one of the presidential, presidential campaign event, and they wouldn't even let water bottles to the event. I guess they don't want people being sprayed with liquid that could be gasoline or whatever that could be set on fire or whatever. So imagine you know the necessity for protection, for these candidates that are looking to serve America and the public. Because eventually, regardless of your political affiliation, once the candidate wins office, they're going to have to serve, everyone regardless of their political affiliation. So, which is kind of counterproductive, having these Democrat Republicans, headbanging going on. I think even individuals that are running for office that are independent candidates deserve the opportunity to compete without having to feel as if they're not a part of America, because they are Americans. They want to serve America. They, feel that their voice and their solution and their problem solving skills ought to be heard by our country and not be silenced, by, special interest groups that are promoting a two-party systems in the country in the year 2024. I think every candidate that would like to serve America should be heard and should be entertained based off of, their message and their capacity to deliver their solution to our country that would help, improve our democracy, include everybody in our society, be an inclusive society. America cannot overemphasize this enough. We need to be an inclusive society. Forget about this race crap. I've traveled throughout the world. I know, the damages that happens when you isolate people, when you marginalize other people, and won't give them equal rights and voice in a democracy. And we definitely need to stay away from that kind of garbage, America. With this said, I would like to implore all my listeners and audience and whoever it is that finds our content of value to support and advocate, um, Secret Service protection to Mr. Robert F. Kennedy. With that said, folks, thank you for listening to my quick podcast. My name is Al Mina, the Face Economics author, Face Economics concept author, which is the social media, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. Thank you once again. I look forward to our next engagement. Take care.